Good day, and welcome to the Morphology Quest channel, where we explore created kinds in scripture, science, and society. I am your host, Todd Elder, and in this episode we answer the question, in your personal research, how are you determining flowering plant kinds? The short answer to this question is that I am using the Floral formula to represent the morphological differences in flower types, where each distinct formula represents a separate created kind of plant. This example formula has 4 separate sepals, 4 separate petals, 8 separate anthers, and a superior pistil with 3 fused ovules, representing my distinct cartoon plant kind. The long answer involves a lot of theological and scientific background concepts, which I will briefly review. I am a young Earth creationist, and the field of research I am working in is called baraminology. Baraminology is the scientific study of created kinds, and more generally refers to the classification of plants and animals from a creationist viewpoint. The project is based on the Genesis creation account and the created kinds of plants and animals described therein. Although the scriptural details are few, much can be learned by studying concepts contained in the Bible. For example, in Genesis 1:11, it mentions a few details about the creation of plants, which are worth noting. Working from the Hebrew text, I would first focus on the distinctions of grass, herb, and tree. This broad description can be studied in science to learn the differences. Upon examination, one detail of difference between them is, grasses have hollow stems, like this bamboo on the left. Herbs have soft tissue throughout the stem, like the banana in the middle. And trees have hard tissue, producing annual rings, like the pine tree on the right. In Genesis 1:11 we also see the phrase after his kind, which suggests that each kind is distinct and separately created from all other kinds, that no evolutionary processes and connections exist between kinds, and the capability to reproduce stays within a kind, meaning there are no hybrids between kinds. Creation-based classification often works with the methodologies of discontinuity systematics. These methods work to determine the boundaries of created kinds and their respective genetic and reproductive limits. Many methods are involved, including, but not limited to, cladistics, morphology, molecular, genetic, ecological, and statistical analysis. Furthermore, I also work with intelligent design concepts. The intelligent design model states that complex systems could not arise from unintelligent natural processes, and therefore an intelligent designer or cause is a better explanation of biological systems. Intelligent design also expects to find specified and complex patterns that are unlikely to occur by chance, which indicates some guidance in the formation. Many people are working to discover the limits of created kinds. It includes an interesting mix of young Earth creationists, theistic evolutionists, and intelligent design advocates. Much of their work has been on determining animal kinds, with a special emphasis on the ark kinds, or the animals that would have been carried on Noah's Ark. When I went to university, my major included a number of classes focusing on plant identification and taxonomy. A few years ago, I began thinking there must be a way to determine plant kinds. Although every part of the plant can aid in identification, among the flowering plants there are clear and distinct patterns which distinguish the gaps between flower types. The usefulness of the Floral formula to show these gaps soon followed. The Floral formula itself is a mathematical expression describing the parts of a flower. The stem is rarely mentioned in the formula, only appearing when unusual bracts are worth noting. The calyx of the plant is the protective outer covering of the flower bud. It is represented with a letter K. The corolla is the often colorful and ornamental part of the flower. It is represented by the letter C. The androecium is the pollen-producing part of the plant, and it's represented by the letter A. The gynecium contains the receptors for the pollen and the ovules. It is represented by the letter G. When you put the entire formula together, you have a representation of the flower. There are also symbols to represent the conation within a single whorl of the plant, as well as symbols to represent the adenation between the whorls of the plant. So, what do the floral formulas look like with real flowers? Here we see a cashew with a calyx of 5 sepals, a corolla of 5 petals, an androecium of 10 stamens, and a superior gynoecium with 3 united carpels. In this morning glory, we see a calyx of 5 sepals, a corolla of 5 united petals, an androecium of 5 epipetalous stamens, and a gynoecium superior with 2 united carpels. The agave kind contains a calyx of 3 sepals, a corolla of 3 petals, androecium of 6 stamens, in 2 layers of 3, and a gynoecium with 3 united carpels. The interesting milkweed flower has a calyx of 5 sepals, corolla of 5 united petals, an androecium of 5 stamens, and a superior gynoecium with 2 united carpels. The orchids have a calyx of 3 sepals, a corolla of 3 zygomorphic petals, 2 lateral and 1 labellum, an androecium of 1 or 2 stamen, and a gynoecium inferior with 3 united carpels. My hypothesis is simple, but also very powerful in its predictions and explanatory features. The primary test of this formula is determining that all hybrids occur within a given formula, and that no hybrids occur between plants with different formulas. This means that each plant kind can contain many species. Each species will have the same floral formula as the general kind, as seen in this hibiscus example. When I approach this topic with intelligent design principles, I am looking for specified complex design, and there is a very interesting possibility. I start by taking just the numbers from the formula. The range of the base numbers goes from 0001 to 5555, which gives a maximum total number of kinds as 720. In reality, some of these combinations will not occur. For example, any combination with a number, and 00 is an infertile flower. However, if we list all the possibilities, I want to watch and see if specificity and complexity show up by having each combination appear one time with no repeats. This would show design and intelligence because it is something that would be very unexpected in methodological naturalism or evolution. So far I have collected over 100 floral formula. Many do seem to represent a distinct kind. Others need refinement or further sorting as they were based on evolutionary classification at the family level. There have been a few overlaps, but these show signs of being of one kind which was improperly split apart by evolutionary taxonomy. In comparison to evolutionary taxonomy, the plant kinds tend to average near the family level of classification. Thus far, over 80% have fallen at that level, with close to 10% above and 10% below. As I continue my research, I hope to answer many questions regarding plant kinds and help provide further scientific evidence for creation. For example, evolution claims that all plants with a spathe and spadix are descended from a single ancestor. But it is possible that there are instead multiple kinds that have the same common design elements. The formula also shows great potential to distinguish whether large evolutionary families contain a single kind or contain common design elements across multiple kinds, such as the orchid and palm tree families. In summary, the floral formula is a mathematical expression of flower characteristics, representative of the individual created kinds of flowering plants, predicts where hybridization should and should not occur, and potentially shows elements of design. For more information about my work, you can purchase the book or visit the website at www.morphological.net.